Hi, hello. I am going to open something that I just got. I'm missing my index fingers before you laugh at me. These nails need to go. I just got this in the mail from my friends at Sweetie Nail Supply, so I did want to try it out. This is the Dewy Glowy collection from Izumi. It is, as it says here, Pink Glow Layering Edition. So I did a live a while ago about the regular Izumi line and their kind of overlay gels. These are similar. These are also technically overlay gels, but they're in some fun colors. So I did want to try them out. This is the packaging. It came with this swatch card. Maybe I should just do some test swatches while I'm here as well. Let's see. Ooh. So it comes with 6 polishes. Cute. They're all kind of in these like peachy pinky tones. Ooh. Each bottle is 11 grams. So they're a bit smaller than some of the other polishes I have, but I actually quite like the size and compactness of it. I like a thinner bottle because then you don't have a bunch of basically polish that gets stuck in the sides in the corner that the brush can't reach. So you'll definitely be able to get a lot of product with these, or as much as possible. Let me put on gloves so you're not subjected to my unfortunate missing nails. I lost 2 nails today. Okay. So these layering gels are supposed to be really good for making gradients, ombres. They have, as you can see, a bit of a thicker texture than just a regular polish. Like as I'm pulling it out, see how it's falling back in the bottle, which I actually quite like. Let's start with our swatches. Okay, so let's see. This first one that I pulled, I-499. Oh, that's cute. So definitely more of a syrupy formula than like milky or transparent. It's kind of just somewhere in between. This one is very cute. So I-449. Next we'll try 451. Ooh. This one is a lot more orange and peachy than the last one. I actually quite like it. Maybe it's just because it's summer, but I've been noticing I've been using more peach tones for people like as their base color. So this could be a really nice sheer nude or even a sheer color on top of whatever nude base you use. and I think that would be the same with all of them. Like I would love to use them over a nude base just to add like the perfect little wash of color. This is I-450. This one's like a soft berry color. A little less pink and a little less red than the very first one. I wish you could see that better. Maybe I need to be more under the light. Yeah. See how that's a lot more berry? And while I'm doing this, I'm actually gonna swatch my little display. So going in order, this was 449. Let me cure that really quickly. Gorgeous. Do I want more? Maybe this will help with my color. Okay, and after that I used 451, which we will put here. Gorgeous. Can you guys see that wavy pattern on the screen? Let me know, because I think I can change it. And then 450. This is where we are so far. So 449 and 450 similar, but once you see them side by side, 449 is very, very red in comparison to this one, which is more of like a mauvey berry. Pretty, doing it a bit better if I do that. Yeah. Okay, which one should we try next? Let's try another peachy color. This is 454. Let's get a better look on the nail. I definitely am And if you guys know my, definitely am, and if you guys know my content, okay, this is the yogurt gel glitter number 50. Let's focus. Do you want to focus? Perfect. And we can do the same thing and like fan the glitter upwards. I wish you could see a little better because this glitter is actually not fanning amazingly, but it's a good point or a good way to show my point, which is that not every polish is meant to be made into a gradient. It's not kind of, you know, a feature of a bunch of polishes. Their goal is usually to sit in one place, be as pigmented as possible, be as even as possible, whatever. These gels, the Dewy Glowy collection, are kind of specially formulated to mix together really well and blend together really well. So you're not going to get this effect with every other polish that you use. And since we're here, yeah, let me just put an orange glitter on the top as well. This is also yogurt gel. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Which color should I use for my neutral? Let's use this deeper. Actually, first I'm going to show you what I meant by using this color in particular, I-454, to enhance, deepen our nudes, to possibly match people with darker tones. So I'm going to show you. This is my skin tone. I say I'm more of a medium. This color is not bad for me. If I were doing a French, I would say it's kind of light. It's kind of washing me out. I have a bit more pink here. It doesn't really feel like, if I was a nail tech or if I was doing my own nails, I don't think I would choose this color. However, this color looks really good with some other skin tones. So let's say me or another client of mine really wants to just have a bit more depth to the nude. We can take one of these layering gels and do a nice little thin coat. And now we have a deeper, warmer shade that is a little more suited to my skin tone. Hi, Evelyn. Cute. Okay, so I'm actually going to cure that one as well. We'll put our lovely little gradient to the side. Another use for these that I'm excited about and that we're gonna try is aura nails. So a lot of people are ditching the airbrushes to create aura and ombre effects, which I completely understand because airbrushes are expensive, they can crap out very easily, and they can be toxic when you use the wrong products inside them. So you're not supposed to be using gel products inside your airbrush. And some people have been turning towards other ways of creating, especially the ombre, because it is so popular. And one of those ways is by using gel polish, specifically kind of shearer gels like this collection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a milky white base just so we can see how this technique works. I really like this nude color. So this is basically a light peachy nude. It was Diami 1132, and I put one coat of the Dewy Glowy I454 on top of it. It's so sheer that it blends really nicely. You can't really see streaks or tell that it is two colors. It does look like one color. Oh, very, very into this. Very into this. So even though that was actually this top second color that I used, this is why it's good to swatch not only on little displays like this or on the bottle, but like actually on a nail. This would probably be 2 or 3 coats of the same color, while this is one coat. Cute. Okay. This one, is it dry? I'm gonna put that back in. Let's put another coat of my milky white. What color should I use? Oh, please don't have glitter in it. Perfect. I know this looks crazy, but sometimes when I want to mix a color but I don't want to pull up my palette, I will mix it on the nail. Gorgeous. I just added a little bit of white to this. Let's see what we can make. So unlike this one, not all the time are you going to be making an ombre with 2 colors from the same set. Sometimes you want to have a nude base and you just want to do kind of a baby boomer French or an ombre French with your other color. So the difference will be between mixing 2 wet colors from the same collection versus having your base color cured and then doing a gradient on that. So let's see how that goes. I want to use a color that's visible. So in the same way, I start with the most of my product at the bottom. Can you see that? If I was with clients, I would use this motion, but since I have the press-ons, I can just do this. And with a very light stroke, I'm pulling the product up. And with the formula's help, it should be really easy to blend. Perfect. Dare I say that looks very similar to the last one we did. So similar to the wet on wet technique, get a nice soft even ombre. Again, the colors out the bottle seem very sheer, but we can very clearly see the pink versus the base tone on this, and this is only 1 coat, so they still do pack a pretty pigmented punch. Love my alliteration. Okay, I'm gonna cure that. And I want to okay. Okay, I'm starting over with this milky one because I actually want a white base instead of this cream. Gorgeous. That in the lamp so that we can do another coat of this one. 452 as my ombre color. This time on the second coat with my first few swipes that I'm depositing pretty much the majority of my color onto the nail, I'm going a bit higher. So before I was about here, now I'm going even higher. Flipping the nail over, and my strokes are going to be very, very light. My initial press is the most I'm doing, and then everything is just like a really slight flick. And if I was doing it with clients, it's not too much different. And because it's so sheer, it just blends into the color underneath it. I'm gonna let that settle a second. Just holding it upside down. Sometimes I do this with polish. That's because I don't have enough polish or anything like that. Here I had a really light hand, but just because I want everything to level properly. Okay, let's put that in. Perfect. And then I do want my okay. So this is 2 coats of 452 on a nude base. As you can see, this is a pretty easy way of getting a natural gradient that's a lot more easily controlled compared to if you were doing the same with airbrush, with pigments. I really haven't managed pigments. If anybody has, please let me know your secrets. So I find that doing it this way with gradation gels is probably my best bet to getting a very simple ombre. As you can see, it's not bulking up the nail too much, which is kind of always has a concern when using gel to ombre. And then this is just my top coat. It is Crazy Top Soft by Jin B, my favorite top coat, 3D gel, everything. And we're just doing that as our final touch. And then next we'll test out our aura. Great. Okay, so we'll try 2 ways of getting this aura with the layering gels. The first, I'm gonna try to do it, maybe I should try to do it. Okay, first I'm gonna try to do it on its own, and then we'll see how it works with a blooming gel as well. Let's try 449. So what I'll do, just a little drop in the center where I want my aura to be the heaviest. And let's try the same technique. This time I'm wiping all product off of my brush, and I'm only going to be using even less product. Actually, I'm going to take a completely clean brush. And then dab even more off. Okay, we still have our center point, but I'm going to cure it, just so we can have that as our first layer. The color I'm using is this one. So it's sheer enough that I could flash cure it, but I do want everything to be 100% cured, because I don't want to run my brush through it and it moves or it shifts or anything like that. Okay, and now we have that fully cured, and I'm gonna go back in with the same thing. Another glob in the center. Gonna wipe all the product off of my brush, or as much as possible. And then let's try just pulling the edges out, no farther than the color already is. I've kind of already pre-chosen how far I want the color to spread. And if it's not perfect on this point, don't worry. And then again, I'm going to use a clean brush and just kind of pat everything. It's blending pretty well, considering I'm blending into white. White will usually tell all your secrets. Just want to lighten up that center there, because I already have that little deeper center underneath. Lovely. Okay, we're going to cure that. And then go for layer 3. I also want to try a different method. And I will still use white just so we can make sure it's an even fight. Let's do one more coat of this. This time I'm not going to go in the center because I want to get rid of that difference in the middle. I'm going to go straight into my dry, clean brush. To brush it out. Cute. Can we see? I don't know why my camera's a bit foggy today. So that's method one of our gradation technique or our aura technique. I think I want to add some 3D on top of this. I'm going to put on my top coat. And I'll put a second coat of white on my second guinea pig. Can anybody guess what our second technique will be to make an aura without an airbrush or pigment? Okay, so the second technique we'll try is actually with blooming gel. I've seen people try this before, but I actually have never done it. And I feel like this is a good opportunity to try. So I'm going to put blooming gel on top of the nail. And what I've seen people do is take their color and basically bring it down the center of their nail. And then they just let it spread. While that's sitting there spreading, I am going to add some 3D. using some more Crazy Top, but this time my thick version, which is the only one I like to use really for 3D designs. This is like a droplet slash rose design, depending on what you're going for, but it's basically all the same thing. I'm just taking a swipe around and around in a circle, and then I pull the ends a little farther to make it thinner on either side. And I'm basically alternating as well. Anytime I see an opening of one, that's where I put the middle of the next one. Cute. And we get this kind of blooming rose vibe, which I actually think is suiting for the color. Meanwhile, this has been spreading in the blooming gel. Not bad, if I'm being honest. That is not bad in terms of an aura. Maybe I should have done more because it's a bit of a wider nail. I'm wondering if I should try to cure it and then do another layer. Again, I've never done this. I've never done this technique. I've avoided it because I am pretty loyal to my airbrush. But I've also never had a product like this Izumi collection. So I'm just kind of experimenting. Should we do another one? I almost feel like, should I go farther? Yeah, like maybe I'll put more. I think putting it a bit farther is cool. Okay, let's just let that sit. And that was my other one from before. This one's definitely going to be a darker ombre. I kind of liked how pale it was before though. Yeah, I definitely think the first technique wins. I think putting the polish in the center on top of a cured base, and then using that brush or like a dry secondary brush. I used both. My other one looks like this, and making the gradient yourself around and around. It was a little tedious because I did 3 coats, but it did not take me as long as this one, which I did a drop of the same color on a blooming gel. So I think these polishes are best when they're kind of used on their own. If you let the kind of formula, I guess, of these because they are made to be mixed, are made to be ombreed, are made to blend into each other. I think if you just work with that, it'll be a lot better and a lot easier than trying to manipulate it in any other way. But that color, very cute, very, very cute on its own. So yeah, I basically wanted to unbox and test all of these with you. Thank you to everyone who joined. This is the Eyes of Me Dewy Glowy collection. There are 6 of these beautiful pink and peachy colors. These are my swatches. These overlay gels are great for layering, for auras, ombres. I think using the baby boomer kind of French vibe, like this one, or like this one, and I put some glitter on top of it as well, just for fun. Worked really well. But yeah, very, very easy to blend, either with each other, or I recommend on top of a cured base coat. But if you try any other versions and they work and you want to let me know, please let me know. I would love to learn some new techniques. But yeah, all of these products I got from Sweetie Nail Supply. You can use my code JAYSEE if you would like. No pressure though. Thank you for sitting and watching me do all of this. That was really, really nice of you. You didn't have to do that. Enjoy the rest of your day.